Ever thought your car's interior was a little too normal? Well, strap in, because we're diving headfirst into the wonderfully weird world of car interiors. These aren't your standard beige leather seats and plastic dash. No, my friend. This is automotive eccentricity at its finest, featuring design choices that make you go, wait, why did they do that? So let's buckle up and take a tour of 9 of the strangest car interiors that you just have to see to believe. Number 1, Buick Questa. We're kicking things off with the Buick Questa, a concept car straight out of the 80s that looks like it was designed by a sci-fi enthusiast who'd had one too many cups of coffee. Imagine an interior so futuristic it would make the Jetsons jealous. The driver's seat is right smack in the center of the car, almost like you're captaining a spaceship. Instead of a typical dashboard, the Questa has a wraparound console with an abundance of buttons and lights, each one more mysterious than the last. And the pièce de résistance? A joystick instead of a steering wheel. Yes, this car genuinely expected you to drive it like it was an arcade game. Number 2, Mazda MX-81 Aria. Next up, let's take a stroll through the Mazda MX-81 Aria, a vehicle that looks more like a spacecraft than a car, with an interior that will have you questioning what era you're in. Mazda debuted this back in 1981, but the interior feels straight out of a sci-fi movie. We're talking digital screens, decades before Tesla made it trendy, and a television screen smack dab in the middle of the dash, displaying everything from speed to fuel. But the oddest part? The steering wheel. Or should I say the steering rectangle? No, that's not a typo. Mazda decided that a rectangular steering wheel would be the way forward. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Number 3, Aston Martin Lagonda Series 2. Aston Martin Lagonda Series 2, the car that said, I'm gonna be fancy, but also slightly odd. This was Aston Martin's take on an ultra-luxurious sedan in the late 70s, and boy did they go for broke on the interior. Instead of analog dials, they introduced touch-sensitive buttons on a digital dashboard. And while that sounds pretty cool today, in the 70s, it was revolutionary, and also wildly impractical. Most of the electronics just flat out didn't work half of the time, but Aston Martin deserves credit for trying to cram as many futuristic features as they could into this car. The cabin feels less like a car interior and more like the command center of an 80s villain. Number 4, BMW Z1. Moving along to a car that answers a question no one asked. The BMW Z1. What if car doors didn't open outwards or even upwards, but instead disappeared into the body? BMW had a why not moment with the Z1, which features doors that slide downwards into the car's bodywork. Inside the Z1 is equally quirky, with bright colored seats that make you feel like you're sitting in a funhouse. It's also one of those cars where the seats feel like they were made of something definitely not fabric, but not quite leather either. Almost like it was upholstered by an alien who just learned what chairs are. Before we move on to the next one in the list, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you're enjoying this content so far, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch these videos without subscribing. Imagine what we could accomplish if everyone subscribed. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. Thanks to all of you who do. Number 5, Citroën Karin. And now, a personal favorite, the Citroën Karin, or as I like to call it, the Pyramid on Wheels. This concept car from the early 80s is a triangular masterpiece, with a roof that looks like it's on loan from the Louvre. The interior is just as bonkers. There's a central driver's seat with 2 passenger seats flanking it, giving it the vibe of a futuristic throne room. The dashboard is dotted with bizarre button clusters and switches, some of which look like they might just launch missiles if you press them too hard. And let's not forget the futuristic steering wheel that's shaped like a tiny TV screen. It's avant-garde, it's French, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Number 6, Ferrari Modulo. A Ferrari with a weird interior? Absolutely. Meet the Ferrari Modulo, a car that looks like it's ready for liftoff rather than a road trip. This sleek, UFO-inspired concept car boasts a strange, low-slung cockpit with a sliding canopy instead of doors, making you feel like a superhero every time you step in. Inside, there's practically no room for anything but a few essential controls. The steering wheel is this tiny, futuristic-looking circle that's all business. In this car, comfort has been completely sacrificed in the name of style. And who needs comfy seats when you look like you're in a spaceship? Number 7. Peugeot 1007. The Peugeot 1007 might be the most normal car on this list, but it still gets a place because of one very odd feature: remote-controlled sliding doors. Yes, on this tiny, rather unassuming city car, you can have doors that open like they belong on a minivan. But it's not just the doors that make this 1007 unique. Inside, Peugeot gave drivers the option to swap out interior panels and seat covers in different colors and patterns, as if they expected you to change your car's look as often as your own outfit. This might be the only car that could require a what not to wear intervention. Number 8. Toyota Will 6. The Toyota Will 6, a car so strange you might be forgiven for mistaking it for a cartoon character. The Will 6 is a boxy, retro-inspired car with an interior that looks like it was furnished by your grandmother. Seriously, this thing has floral patterned upholstery and pastel colors galore. Toyota decided to lean fully into the cutesy aesthetic here, right down to the little knobs and dials, which are big, bubbly, and adorable. The steering wheel looks like it was borrowed from a 50s diner booth, and the whole thing feels like the automotive equivalent of a cozy sweater. It's quirky, it's cozy, and it's undeniably weird. Number 9. Fiat Multipla. Finally, the Fiat Multipla, the car that many describes as so ugly, it's cute. The Multipla is probably the most functionally weird car on this list, with an interior that prioritizes space and comfort in the most bizarre way possible. It has a 3+3 seating layout, meaning 3 seats in the front and 3 seats in the back, which makes the dash and controls feel like they were thrown together in a hurry. The center console is this strange, jumbled mess of buttons and dials, and the gear shift sticks out like it was added as an afterthought. But weirdly enough, the Multipla is incredibly practical, even if it looks like a car designed in a parallel universe where aesthetics are a crime. And there you have it, 9 of the weirdest car interiors you'll ever lay your eyes on. These cars might not be the fastest or the most powerful, but they're a reminder that creativity is alive and well in the automotive world, even if it does sometimes take a left turn into Bizarreville. So the next time you're complaining about your car's dashboard being too cluttered, just remember, it could be worse. It could be a joystick, a rectangular steering wheel, or a floral couch on wheels. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to Cars Insight so you can enjoy more content like this.